Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh my gosh, I don't have any makeup on to show you yet, except for my eyebrows, of course, but I am wearing my cute little Mothman earrings today. It's been a while. I haven't worn any of my spooky earrings in a while, which is silly because I like to be spooky all year round, not just in October, and I've been especially ranting about this on my Instagram stories lately, but my favorite thing about winter is that the trees don't have any leaves on them. And I know you're like, what, you don't like leaves? What is this? Unsubscribe. I freaking love the leaves, okay? But something cool about the branches not having any leaves on them in the winter is that you can finally see the shapes of the actual branches and they look like spooky skeletons. Look at this photo. You can't tell me this tree isn't a beautiful spooky skeleton. January is a spooky month if you want to put a positive spin on wintertime. I feel like January is a spooky month and I stand by that. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to listen to me rant and rave about how spooky the trees look in January. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in me doing a get ready with me with a bunch of new makeup. We've got some singles from the new Oden's Eye single eyeshadow collection. Even though they're literally sold out already, I was gonna do a dedicated video reviewing some of these shades because there's like 42 of them, so I was never gonna be able to review all of them, but I was like, they're sold out and they're not restocking until January to March, so I'm not gonna go through. There's so many people that did full dedicated reviews. Lauren May Beauty did a full dedicated review where she like did in-depth swatches and everything, so go watch her video if you want to see that. But I am going to use some of their single shadows to do a graphic liner look today. And then I got a PR package from Pixi recently. I've got this gorgeous blush palette that they sent me, some mascara, some eyeliner. Lawless Beauty sent me a PR package with their new primer. I have some lip gloss from Bare Minerals here. I have a Lottie London highlighter that looks like it could be a dupe for the Fenty Diamond Bomb. So lots of exciting things to try on today. I've got some brushes from Oden's Eye too. Lots of good stuff. And you know, as always, I'm gonna keep it chatty and I'm gonna keep it goofy and I'm gonna keep it fun. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you wanna get ready with me with some new makeup, go grab your own makeup or grab a snack or grab your favorite furry friend. Mine is behind me somewhere and he is ornery because he thinks it's dinner time, but it's only 4 p.m. But yeah, grab your favorite snack, grab your furry friend, grab your makeup, and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. What happened? Sorry, I had to do one eye off camera because I'm filming reels too at the same time. But anyways, this is the graphic liner look that I'm gonna try to recreate over here. I'll probably add stuff to it too. But what I've done and what I will do again right now is I'm going to turn this gorgeous Oden's Eye single eyeshadow. This is the shade Leon, and I want to turn that into a graphic liner. And I was inspired to do that because, like I said before, the Oden's Eye single shadow collection is huge. There's like 42 of them. Incredibly grateful. Thank you so much, Oden's Eye, for sending them to me. That was so kind. But as someone who gets easily overwhelmed, I laid them all out on my bed and was like, I don't know any shades to use. But lucky for me, my lovely friend Andromeda posted this look to their Instagram and I was like, are you kidding? What is that shade? Went down, checked what shade it was and was like, okay, yeah, that's the one I want to use. It's so unique, just such a gorgeous metallic red. I feel like reds usually have more of like a pinky base to them, whereas this one feels like it has more of a black base. I don't have any black liner underneath it or anything, so that's very cool. I already have some on my palette here. I think I'm gonna shave a little bit more. This like stresses people out when I do this, but you know, you really don't need to ruin your eyeshadows to turn them into liners using Duraline. You just need to shave a tiny little bit, do it in the corner, you know, and then you just dump it onto your palette. And if you don't like the way that that looks afterwards, look at how easy it is to fix. You just use your finger to like press it back in, rub around the area where you're scratching it up, and it looks absolutely fine, in my opinion. You know, if you want your eyeshadows to look perfect, maybe you don't want to do this. I have heard people say before that they just rub their finger around in it and then swipe a swatch onto their hand and then add the Duraline that way. I personally love using my little palette here, but you can always do it that way if you don't want it to look all scratched up. So now I'm gonna add a drop of Duraline. Sometimes I'll chop it up first, like sometimes I'll take my scraping tool and I'll do a little but I will say this Oden's Eye single shadow formula is very, very soft. So when I chopped it up, it like didn't really get any smaller, but it did mix really nicely with a brush. So let's try that again. And yes, it's dissolving in the Duraline really easily. Might need one more drop of Duraline. Duraline here. Just one more drop. It's always better to start with less Duraline than more, because then you have to end up adding more eyeshadow and it's so hard to get the right ratio that way. And now you can see I have a nice liquidy formula here. I am not gonna start with this brush though. I'm gonna start with my Glisten Cosmetics number 4 brush for my big swipe line. Now let's go in and do my graphic liner shape, and I'm going to follow along the shape of my nose. That's my favorite thing about doing this graphic liner shape, is you just like go to your nose bridge and go to like where your nose starts to go up a little bit and use that as your starting point. And then I just like follow along with my brow shape and kind of flick it out at the end. Not super worried about symmetry because my eyes are not symmetrical. So how can my liner ever be symmetrical? But nobody's ever gonna notice except for you, so don't worry about it so much. Oop, got a cat hair on my brush. Then you wanna let it dry a little bit between layers. You can see my hand's a little shaky. I've had too much coffee today. I should have drank more water before this, but yeah, so I did not get the most even line, but that's okay because I was gonna go in with a second layer anyways. Alright, now I'm gonna do my line connecting from my outer corner of my eye. What do you call this area? Outer corner of my eye up to the end of my flick here. Sweet. Now we're gonna bring it in and do a wing, just matching on the other side. Normally if I weren't filming a reel at the same time as doing this YouTube video, I would try to go back and forth with the lines. I know whenever I like make videos about symmetry, people are like, just go back and forth, like don't do one eye at a time. And yes, I hear you, logistically that is the smart thing to do, and that is the better way to try to get a more symmetrical look. I like to do it both ways sometimes. Sometimes it is like nice to just let yourself get on a roll and just do a whole eye look. You know, there's definitely times where even if I don't have to do it that way, I still do it that way because I'm just like using a palette and I'm like, ooh, I want to add this color and see how this looks. Like I don't want to wait until after I've done the other eye because I don't want to lose that inspiration. So I switch it back and forth. You know, it really just depends. Why am I getting liner all over my lid? I think I got some on my eyelash and it's transferring, but that's okay. I'll go clean that up with a Q-tip. I do want to stress the importance though of letting your Duraline and eyeshadow mixture completely dry down before going in with a second layer, because I have not done that before, and basically what it does is just move the pre-existing mixture around and it can create these little like raised peaks of areas where it's like products removed, so it's building up and it's uneven. So you really do want to give that just a little time to dry. It doesn't take very long to dry. I mean, you got to give it no more than like 20 seconds, and if you're fanning yourself, probably even less. Anyway, that being said, let me go into my second layer. I swear I have this one eyelash that even when I don't curl my lashes, like my lashes are not curled right now, this one eyelash is just like always curled and I always get liner stuck to it and then it ends up transferring on my lid. I don't know what that's about. There we go. Easy cleanup though. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to my smaller brush. This is a Glisten Cosmetics number 2 brush just to work in the inner corner. I find it easier to work with a smaller, more precise brush. For the inner corner, I'm gonna add one more drop of Duraline because my product has started to dry out a little bit. Like I said, Duraline dries quick, so sometimes you do need to add a little bit more to your mixture, but I shouldn't need to add any more eyeshadow since, as you can see, there's still a lot on my little palette here. You can get these little mixture palettes anywhere, by the way. I have one from About Face Beauty, and I believe they do sell theirs now, but I mean, look on Amazon. Shop Miss A has one too. I have another one from them. Like, you don't need to spend a lot of money on a palette. I do like the aluminum ones though because they're super, super easy to clean. And you can use them as a mirror sometimes too. Can you see yourself? Yourself, as if you guys are my camera on a stack of books, but like you can see yourself. That's kind of fun. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Okay, so this is my Glisten Cosmetics number 2 brush, and I am just going to connect where this line ends to where my wing starts. The fold at the beginning of my eye over here in my inner corner is a little different than on this eye too. It always trips me up. My eyes are asymmetrical in more ways than one. In one way because my hood goes down further over here, but also like I have less of a visible inner corner here. Like the hood also like falls lower in the front. I don't know, it's confusing, but I always have a bit more of a struggle with this inner corner than my other eye's inner corner. I don't like that. I feel, see the disconnect right there? Oh boy. It's okay, pals. That's why we always keep micellar water on my makeup desk and Q-tips so that I can clean it up quickly. All right, let's try that again. Okay, you know what? Let me start by extending that inner corner a little bit. Like I said, this is my struggle inner corner, definitely the one I struggle with more. Okay, so I'm gonna start, you see I've extended that a little bit. Now it makes it a little easier for me to see the spot where I need to meet in the middle, whereas I feel like on this eye, I'm just like, boop, easy connection. All right, let's take a little break from the eyes and move on to the face. I wanna start by using this under eye cooling stick from Skin Proud, which I believe is Lottie London's skincare brand. I cannot remember if I've talked about this on YouTube yet, but I know I've talked about it on Instagram because it is so nice. You just go like this on your under eyes. My mom loves this too because she says she gets very dry under eyes when she goes out for her walks in the winter time. It's very balmy, doesn't have any scent to it, which I love. A lot of the Skin Proud products are unfortunately very fragrance, like not just a little, I mean like heavy on the fragrance, but this is not. And yeah, it just does a little bit of deep, it's supposed to be like depuffing. It's like a cooling and soothing, I think it says, cooling eye serum stick. Yeah, I like it for before applying concealer and stuff because I do feel like it creates a nice slick base and it glides very nicely over the eyes. I feel like it doesn't tug that much, which is great. So big fan of that. And now I'm gonna go in with a primer, which is not my first impressions of this primer. I used it one other time. This is the Lawless Set the Stage Hydrating Priming Soothing Primer Serum. It's got a little liquidy to it. I'm giving it a little shake here. The only thing I don't like about this primer so far is that it's a little smelly. It's got lavender oil in it, so it's not like a perfume, but I did want to mention it because a lot of people are sensitive to essential oils, especially lavender. I am thrilled to announce that I did not have a negative reaction to it because I really like this primer. I used it the other day. I was like, okay, let me not change up anything else in my routine and just see if I have a reaction to it, and I didn't. So that's great. You know, lavender oil is just such a strong smell that hopefully they didn't use too much. I find it a bit of a strange choice because lavender oil is so sensitizing to many people that they would choose that. But you know, obviously there are so many people. I definitely used to be more of like a boo, all fragrance and skincare is bad. If you use it, then you don't use good skincare. And I think that's because I used to watch a lot of Hiram, and that was definitely a big thing of his, was like, you know, fragrance and skincare. You know, we live, we learn. I use some skincare now that does have fragrance in it, and it doesn't bother me. My cleansing oil has a little bit of fragrance in it, and it does not bother me, and happy to report that this Lawless primer doesn't bother me. It's a little bit sticky, but I'm gonna show you my favorite combo with it, or at least the combo I did the other day, which was putting on the Lawless primer and then taking the Huda Booty, I cannot say it, the Huda Beauty Glow-ish Multi-Dew Skin Tint, which if you've been here for a while, I reviewed this last year. My friend Kate gave me this. Shout out to Kate, she's great. And yeah, so I like to apply this with my fingers. It's a very glowy foundation, so I like using it with this primer, I think because the primer itself is hydrating, but there's no glow to it. It's the same reason I really like the Euphoria primer, is that it's hydrating, makes your skin look really glowy, but not in like a mica glowy way. Oop, gotta take out my little fake nose ring. But yeah, I like that the primer itself is just hydrating but doesn't have any mica in it, whereas the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint definitely has some mica, definitely at least has something that makes it look a little sheeny. So if you were to combine this with also a sheeny primer, then you'd be looking like the Tin Man, and hey, that is a look, so that is your prerogative to do that. But look at what a pretty combo this is. Doesn't it just look like my skin took a big old drink of water? Like, you would have no idea. This is winter skin. Look at how the light hits it. I'm looking hydrated. She is looking refreshed. And yeah, I just love this combo so much. Lawless primer and Huda Beauty Glowish. They're kissing because they're friends, and friends kiss sometimes. Anyway, let's move on to something else. I guess I should show you me doing my concealer. This is the NYX Concealer Serum, which is not a new product to me, but I want you to see how nice and glidey it goes over the Skin Proud serum stick. I really like at least putting an eye cream before I do my concealer nowadays. I used to raw dog it. I used to just go in with concealer, and that was fine because my under eyes don't get like super crispy, crepey dry. Like, they're definitely not the driest area of my face. The driest driest area of my face is my cheeks and my chin for sure. Those are like my super dry spots, whereas my under eyes are not. But I just noticed the concealer wears better over like a nice hydrated base. I think it looks more like natural, you know, like it doesn't look as much like I have these like unrealistically bright under eyes. I feel like it just looks nice and hydrated. Can you tell I just want to look hydrated? I just want to look like I drink more water than I do. Let me take a sip of water so I can actually be hydrated too. Yay, stay hydrated, kids. Look who's here! Bertram also needs to stay hydrated. He does not drink a lot of water, which I know is normal for cats. No, don't leave. I've offended him. He's like, no, you're gonna talk about how I'm over here dehydrated. That's rude. That's my angel boy. He's so cute. Yay, Bertram. Next up for my base products here, I have this Pixi Beauty face palette. It's actually called a Nuance Quartet in the shade Sugar Blossom. You can see it's got a blush, some highlighters. This shade I believe is also supposed to be a blush. At first I thought it was a bronzer, and then I put it on the other day and was like, nope, this is pink. But as I mentioned in a couple videos I think ago, I'm not a big bronzer girl in the winter time. I'm like, clearly my skin is not bronze. Clearly I have no tan anywhere on my body, so why am I trying to give that appearance? If you do that, that's wonderful. I feel like I'm putting my foot in my mouth right now, making it seem like I don't like when other people wear bronzer. I do, I just don't love doing it on me in the wintertime. I don't know. So I kind of like maybe doing a little combination of these two, since this shade gives bronze energy. You know, it definitely is pinky, like it's not a bronzer, but I feel like it's gonna give us a little bit of a sculpt because it's on the cool tone side. So I'm just gonna go in and tap that on a little bit here. I hope I don't have too much on my brush. This has been kind of my technique with powder and cream blushes lately, is I like just get it on the brush, put a little bit on one side, and then immediately dump some product on the other side, and I find that that makes it easier for me to not over apply blush, because if you're not new here, you know I love a lot of blush. You know I have a heavy hand with blush, but with powder blushes that can be harder to blend them out if you apply too much. But I do really like this blush formula so far. I find that it's pigmented enough that I feel like I don't need to be like dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping. Like I've only dipped in once and I already have this much, although I'm gonna take a little more of that pink shade for this side. But yeah, I just find that it's a nice balanced formula and it doesn't make my skin look dry. Like you can definitely still see that glow coming through from the Huda Beauty skin tint and from the Lawless primer. So I like that about it. Ooh, I forgot to clean up my eyes. I've got like transfer all over my lids. Oh no, these eyelashes, I'm telling you, let me clean that up real quick. Okay, I'm all cleaned up. Next up on the docket is this gorgeous highlight from Lottie London. It's their Diamond Bounce Illuminating Highlighter. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I've heard that it could be a dupe for the Fenty Diamond Balm. Mine is so old. This is gross. I should not put this on my face. I'm only gonna do a swatch comparison. This should absolutely be decluttered. I got this in 2018. Anyways, my friend Chris was the one who told me that these might be a dupe for each other. So let's see, Chris. Let's see if they are. I don't even know if this will be a fair comparison because my Diamond Balm is so old. And like I said, this is not going on my face. But okay, here is our Fenty Diamond Balm swatch. It's just a nice, really wet looking sheer highlighter that's definitely got some shimmeriness to it. Now let's go in with the Lottie London. Already noticing this one. Oh, okay. This one is a little smushy. Maybe it just feels less smushy because it's like newer than my Fenty Diamond Balm. Okay, anyways, so this is the Lottie London one swatched. Yeah, that's a dupe. That's a dupe if I've ever seen one. They look the same. Oh my gosh, and the Lottie London one is so much cheaper. Fantastic. If you're curious about the Fenty Diamond Balm, but you don't want to spend the $40 that it costs, definitely check out the Lottie London Diamond Bounce Illuminating Highlighter. This is the shade Frosted, by the way. They might have other shades too. Okay, I actually want to do a little bit of a brow bone highlight too. I'm not one that's like super big on like shimmery highlights on the cheeks. That's why I bought that Fenty Diamond Balm and then I pretty much exclusively wore it as eyeshadow because I don't always like that look on the cheeks. I already have such nice dew going, but I should show you what it looks like, right? Plus, it's a nice opportunity for me to use this Oden's eye brush, which is not labeled, but it is very beautiful, and I feel like it could be a good highlighter brush. I don't know, could be too big for highlighter, but I'm certainly gonna test it out. So let's see what that looks like. Oh. Is there a difference? I feel like sometimes I'm just seeing like the light. No, that's beautiful on camera. What does that look like in real life though? Because sometimes the camera makes things look better than it looks in real life. Oh shoot. No, that looks pretty in real life too, dude. That's awesome. It definitely, like, it looks like scattered light. Like, you can see the particles of shimmer on my cheek. I'm definitely gonna keep that pinpointed to the high point of my cheek, whereas other highlighters, like these Pixi highlighters I used in the palette the other day, because they're so smooth, I was able to put them like all over my cheek and still have it look nice, whereas with this Lottie London highlighter, I would not do that, because I feel like it could draw attention to texture that I don't want it to draw attention to. So yeah, we're just gonna do a nice pinpointed highlight here. Don't think I had enough on the brush. Oh, that's really pretty though. I don't know if that'll look pretty on the nose. You know what? No, I should show you the Pixi highlighters on the nose. That way I'm showing you multiple options. Oh, I can't stop looking at my cheeks though. That is really nice. How did I have sparkle all over my pants? Oh no. So I'm gonna dip into the pink highlighter in the Pixi Nuance Quartet, the Sugar Blossom palette here, and we're gonna put that on my nose. This is such a pretty highlighter formula. I actually used to have a Pixi highlighter duo that I got at Marshall's like years ago, and I had to declutter it because it was too deep for my skin tone, because I had one that had like more of a purpley shade in it, so it just casts such a shadow on me. I still feel like this shade might be a little too deep for my skin tone, like maybe I need to wear it with a more bronzy look, but this pink shade works beautifully and I feel like looks so pretty as a little nose highlight. Oh, I like this quad so much. All right, let's do a spritz before I do my mascara. This is my Nyx Bare With Me setting spray, by the way. Okay, now we're gonna move on to mascara. I have a new mascara to try, not my first time trying it. First time trying it on camera with you. It's the Pixi by Petra Large Lash Mascara. Wait till you see this wand. It's a thick boy. It's certainly large. It is a large lash mascara, and spoiler alert, I like this mascara so far. It definitely doesn't give like the most volume and length of anything, but what I appreciate about it is that it's very easy to control. Like, despite having such a large brush, it applies nicely. It's the perfect mixture of like where it's wet enough to coat the lashes, but dry enough that it doesn't get everywhere. If you've ever used a wet mascara formula before, then you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of an example right now, but I've definitely tried mascaras before where the formula was just so wet that it's like I never had a chance. Like, it just immediately transferred all over the place, ruined my eyeliner underneath, got all over that lower lash line, and just like was no fun to work with. And especially a wet formula on a big brush is like the worst, because you just feel like you are fighting for your life doing your mascara, whereas this one is a really nice happy medium. It's also a lot more tapered towards the top. As you can see, it's kind of like a cone shape, so you can use that smaller top part to get into your inner and outer corners without feeling like you're getting product everywhere. I like these a lot better than those hourglass shaped brushes. Like, I'm thinking of the Better Than Sex mascara and the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascaras. Both also have big thick brushes like this, but it's shaped like an hourglass, which makes it hard to use the thicker outer parts of the wand to like get into your inner corners. So I much prefer a large brush that is cone shaped like this. Sorry, I should have showed it on camera too, but I was working quick. I also really like that mascara for the lower lash line, which you would think like big brush like that, but I'm telling you, that cone tip is like what makes all the difference in a big mascara brush. Anyways, we're getting to the final chapter of our time together here today, and I want to use this lip gloss because my lovely mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas. She got me a little 2-pack of Bare Minerals lip glosses. It just came with beautiful shades. It has this shade, which is called Enchantment, which is like this gorgeous iridescent pinky gold shade, and then this shade I'm going to use today is called Wonder, and it's a gorgeous red gloss. I am in my red gloss era right now. I was wearing one from Thrive Cosmetics at the beginning of the video. Let me tell you what that is. I was wearing the shade Maya from Thrive Cosmetics at the beginning of the video. I love this one, but let me try the shade Wonder. It looks like, if you look at them together, I feel like Wonder looks a little deeper, maybe a little more brown. Let's see how pigmented this is. Looks like it's got a hint of shimmer too. Oh, I like that smell. Oh, it's like a nice fruity smell. Okay, my lip products don't always need to be vanilla. They can be fruity too. Wow, okay. Pigmented gloss. Pigmented, but not like so pigmented like the KVD vinyl lip glosses. I only recently found out those are lip glosses. I mentioned that in my reacting to my 2021 favorites video recently, that the KVD vinyl lip glosses, like, feel more like shiny lipsticks to me. Whereas this is pigmented, but definitely still sheer enough that I think it's appropriately called a gloss. Is there a name for this gloss formula? I really like it so far. It doesn't feel sticky or anything. Honestly, feels like a lip oil, which I love. This is the Bare Minerals Mineralist Lip Gloss Balm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense why it feels like a lip oil to me, because I guess it's a lip gloss balm. I feel like that's very trendy in 2023 and last year too. Makeup brands are starting to recognize that we don't want the gooey, gloppy gloss feel that maybe we were okay with a few years ago. Now we want to feel nourished. We want it to feel comfortable on the lips. We don't want those lines. You can see I don't have them here. We don't want those lines that tend to like drip down on really like sticky glosses. So I really like this formula. All right, my friends, and with that, we have reached the end of the video. Can you see that Bert has decided to join us? He's very curious about all of the makeup I have laid out on this ledge over here. Why don't you come sit in my lap? Anyways, what do you think of my final look? I really like how everything turned out today. Oh, he's touching the microphone. I really like how everything turned out today. I feel like I still gotta do some playing around with these Oden's eyeshadows. I was struggling with more fallout than I normally get when I mix them with Duraline. I don't know if it's just because this is such a soft formula or maybe because it's got a little more shimmer to it. Good jump, Bertram. But I do still love the final look. I just had to clean it up, I feel like, more than I normally did, which could also have been for my shaky hands today because I've had too much coffee. But oh my gosh, this gloss is beautiful. The Lottie London freaking highlighter is like the surprise of the day. I thought I was gonna like it. I was like, you know, it'll probably look cute on my brow bone or whatnot, but I did not expect to like it on the cheekbones so much. Stop! He's trying to eat plastic now. Okay, I gotta wrap things up and go give Bert his dinner, but I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post 2 new videos a week, at least I have been for the last week, so hopefully I can keep doing that. Check out my description box for all of the makeup on my face today. Also in my description box, I will have all of my social justice what are you doing? He's like trying to scratch my notebook. Also in my description box, I will have all of my social justice links, so please check those out if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!